Okay, I'm at the start of the Scenic Byway. This is Old Oxford Highway, north of northern Durham. This is plantation country. There's several plantations out here. We're going to go by about 3 of them. One of them is actually still privately held farm and still active. Can't go in there. Fair and Tosh. It was established about 1807. There's another one out here called Stagville. Here's the entrance to Fair and Tosh. I guess 1804. I guess they do something with cattle. Yeah, the next one coming up is Stagville, and I'm not quite sure who owns that now. I'm sure it's some kind of society, but it is dedicated to the preservation and history of African American slaves. Now their life was. First time I rode down in there and saw the master's quarters, I was pretty unimpressed. You know, we have that image of Gone with the Wind kind of places, but a lot of plantations really weren't like that. And they've got a couple of old buildings preserved in there. I'm not going to walk down. Coming up on the entrance. Must be something going on today. It's a holiday, I'm pretty sure. Something's happening. Well, maybe not. Gate's closed. I'm surprised. Well, there's the gate to historic Stagville. Sorry I couldn't take you down there today. It's a dirt road down there. It'd have been fun for this bike. I'm going to deviate a little bit from the normal path. The actual Scenic Byway takes a left right here. I think you can see the sign where everybody's going. We're going to take a little bitty change of route. This will take us by another plantation. I don't know much about the details on this one. I just recently discovered it so many times I've ridden out here. Pay attention to what I'm doing here so I don't kill myself. Pretty dangerous corner right there. Now up there, those are, I think that's slave quarters. I don't know how much of this is left. There's the house. That's the big house, main house. I'm going to cruise up there a little bit so you can see some of the buildings. I've got street tires on this thing. Just put some PR4s on it. Got them scrubbing them in today. What's unique about this place is the slave quarters. They're 2-story. It's kind of unique. These are the slave quarters. You can see off here to the left. And 2-story slave quarters didn't often exist. I guess somebody get me if I ride down through here. That doesn't mean they didn't put 8 or 9 people in a room. They must have had quite a few slaves here. I'm not sure what that building is over there. It must have been an owner's house. I don't think that was slave quarters. I walked around that before, and I'm not quite sure what that is. State property. Alright, so this belongs to the state. Rock foundations. It's interesting. There was a school. It's a school in Wake County where I work. Washington Elementary. A friend of mine was principal there for a while, and they had done a remodeling on it. What they found was that it had a wood foundation. Of course, you know, termites love wood. But the thing was, that was one of the, in the days of segregated schools, that was a black school. So they didn't, when you talk about separate but equal, that wasn't quite equal. They were a little cheap on the buildings, cheap on the books, etc. So that's a myth. It's like the myth of the benevolent slave owner, and how they'd have been much better off in slavery. Well, they're probably much better off to not been brought over here to begin with. Live the life they choose, not the one that Some white man chooses for him. Alright, that's my editorial for the day. I'll get off of that. Here comes an old barn, horse barn. Apparently the builders, a lot of verbiage on the signs there, but the builder's real proud of this building. It's kind of nice. It's just a dirt road. This parallels the main route of the Byway. I just like to scoot down in here. It's kind of nice. It's not a hard dirt road. With these street tires, I don't believe I'd come down in here if it was muddy. There are a few little muddy spots. There's some hiking trails out here. I'm gonna have to get back to hiking again. My backpacking days are long gone, but a little burned out section. I could do some of this. Just walking a mile or two. My bad knees. I think I start doing something like that. Little buzzers. I tell you what, you have to be careful of them. They'll be eating something on the side of the road and fly up right in front of you. That's a pretty big old bird to smack into at 60 miles an hour. Got a couple of near misses. Yeah, this old bike, well, it's not a true dirt bike. It's low center of gravity. This is pretty good. Pretty good for, roads and two-track and stuff. Nothing real crazy, although some guys are out there doing crazy stuff with it. I've seen some videos, guys out west, hitting some pretty serious stuff with them. Put the right tires on them, bash plate, and go to it. I honestly think this automatic could do pretty good because quit worrying about the clutch, what gear you're in. You can still manually shift. I guess I haven't talked about that. I'm riding my new, it's a 2014, it's new, Honda NC700XD. Now, NC's new concept, it's a way different motorcycle than a lot out there. It's not built to go fast, it's not a hot bike, it's good gas mileage. Most people get in the 60s, round and round. I'm getting about 61 so far. Got a real low center of gravity. It doesn't have a backbone frame. It's got a little trellis frame. Motor's one of the stress members, and it's got a gas tank under the seat, and then the engine is really canted forward quite a bit, and it's water cooled, and it's a good little bike. It only got about 47, 48 horsepower, but it's got a real flat torque curve, and it'll just pull and pull and pull. But this is the XD, and what the XD has is automatic transmission, or what Honda calls a dual clutch. It has somewhat of a standard transmission, but it's got auto shifting, and it's got these two clutches. So when I start it up, it'll be in neutral, and I can either put it in drive or sport, and all sport does is shift. It revs a little more, although this thing's got a red line of about 6,200. I've never hit it. People complain about hitting a red line, but I've never done it because I'm not a big winder anyway. Old guy. But I'm really liking the transmission, the automatic transmission. Don't have to worry about being in the wrong gear at stoplights. I was up in the mountains last weekend riding the twisties. I never had any problem. I put it in sport mode. Usually around town I'm in just drive mode. But it would shift and do like I wanted it. And you've got, there's a manual mode too, and you put in that and make all your shifts with finger paddles. You can also, in any mode you can shift. Like sometimes I'm hitting a hill and it's not shifting, downshifting, I just drop it a gear with a flick of my thumb, and that's fine. It'll shift back up in a minute. It's no problem. Interesting thing is I have to have a parking brake because it won't sit in gear. Anytime you turn the engine off, it'll shift down to, it'll shift back into neutral, so it'll shift back into gear. But so far I'm liking it. I think I got used to the low horsepower, high torque bikes in my DR650, which is currently for sale. I really like the lightness of the DR, so it kind of got me looking at something, but I wanted anti-lock brakes. This bike has got anti-lock brakes. It's funny, Honda doesn't package anti-lock with this manual bike. And this bike's really geared towards, rookie riders. But I lot of veterans like myself are getting it. Getting old, and crotchety, and aren't in a hurry to go anywhere. This bike serves a purpose. A lot of the guys on the forum, I've just done it. There's a forum for the NC700s, of course. We have a Fuelie app on our iPhones, but you can link that Fuelie app to your signature on the forum, so it gives your overall gas mileage. So we're all doing that, and it's interesting to see how well most of the guys do. In fact, I'm on the low end, probably because I ride the sport mode too much, and I'm probably heavier than the average rider, so that adds a little bit to it. Maybe I got a heavy throttle hand, I don't know.